Free Man Walking. Andrew Nieman. Copyright 2012. Andrew P. Nieman. I could not stop drinking. I could not stop sticking that needle in my arm. I could not get my life together. No matter what I tried, I always failed. Until I learned the truth. I have lost most of my childhood friends to drug overdoses and alcoholic mishaps that claimed their lives. Friends that I have grown up with and have grown to love over the years. When they die, they take a part of you with them when they go. They could have found the freedom that I found, but for whatever reason they didn't. I dedicate this book to them, to my mother's memory, my family, and to those who will find freedom through this true life story. That same freedom that I have found and have come to love. That beautiful freedom that I am not willing to exchange for anything this world has to offer. When a prisoner has finished his time in the penitentiary on his release day, as he is walking towards the last gate that separates him from freedom, a guard yells out, "Free man walking." Today, I am a free man walking. Prologue. After 10 years on Skid Row, 10.5 years in jail, 27 years of chronic alcoholism, 3 years in a residential school, 23 years of heroin, cocaine, and drug addiction, I found the true path of healing that allowed me to overcome the effects of family violence, neglect, sexual abuse, and become a new person. I went back to school, earned a university degree in social work, ran my own counseling business for 6 years, and became an officer of the Yukon Legislative Assembly. When the suggestion was put forth that I should write a book on my life, I thought with enthusiasm, yeah, I should do that. At the time, I had no idea of the monumental task I was about to embark on. Monumental, in terms of not only fitting in the time to write, but also to deal with those emotions that would be relived and the scenes that would be replayed over and over again for the benefit of accuracy. The task is monumental in terms of deciding where to begin, what to include, and what to leave out. Like a painter dipping the tip of his brush into many different colors seeking to find that perfect hue, I now realize that I, too, must dip my historical paintbrush into the harsh colors of a jaded past and into the pools of my emotions in order to paint as accurate a picture as memory will serve. I have been given a new lease on life. I know that. It can't be argued. And along with that lease comes a price tag. A price tag I'm grateful yet burdened to pay. Part of that price tag are the memories which must be resurrected of loved ones long since passed on. Memories, once thought to be so carefully tucked away in a dark secret chasm of the mind they would never be disturbed again. Tucked away in a place where it seems not even hypnosis, or the strongest truth serum, if there were such a thing, could penetrate. Memories, still so very clear they seem to have been waiting for these precise moments to come alive once again. There will also be scenes, complete with the sounds of Skid Row and prison life. Scenes that bring to life the muffled sound of a lonely heart breaking as the undernourished body is stabbed repeatedly by the agonizing knife of drug withdrawal. There is sweat. There are tears. There is humor. There are scenes of drug overdoses and of prison violence. Scenes like the time I stood on the steps of the Lower Post Indian Residential School, a 10-year-old boy with tears in my eyes, after being told I was not going home. I was 300 miles away from my mother, my father, my family, and my friends. A child forced into a strange environment with people I did not know. Scenes of that same 10-year-old boy smoking cigarette butts out in the wilderness on a weekend outing at the residential school. There are scenes also of lasting friendships born out of adversity. Friendships created through the necessity of survival. Scenes also which depict the kind of courage it takes to admit you've suffered physical, sexual, emotional, and mental abuse at the residential school. That you've done wrong to those who have treated you well and you need their forgiveness. Your mind's eye will view scenes of laughter, smiling faces, joy, triumph, and trauma, and most importantly, love. This writer will give you a front row seat, a real-life virtual tour of the way it is in the life of a person living for over 10 years on Skid Row and 10.5 years behind prison bars. You'll have a glimpse into the life of a person who was a chronic, hopeless alcoholic for 27 years and a drug addict for 23. You will walk through the seedy world of the cocaine addict and the heroin addict. You'll learn firsthand what it takes to come out of such a painful life as well as how to live an overcoming lifestyle that endures after the drugs. The writer will not have any trouble recollecting scenes or events for this autobiography. Just as a soldier will remember the sounds of war, or a rape victim remembers the touch of cold steel on flesh, pain somehow has a way of triggering one's memory, or is it memory that triggers pain? Neither will there be any need for exaggeration in this story. Reality has its own staying power and sings its own sour-sweet song, loud and clear. In truth, truth does not back down nor bedfellow with exaggeration. It has no need to. It is not my job to convince you of truth. It is merely my place to present the factual events of my past life, leading up to the present, where my life now stands. My criminal record is posted online as an establishment of truth at www.freemanwalking.net. As we embark on this journey together, it is this writer's hope that these pages will instill a hope into the hearts of those who are going through something similar, and for mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers who may have family or relatives living on Skid Row, in prison, or who are presently living in the throes of alcohol/drug addiction or other realities of traumatic despair. Please, and I say again, please, don't ever stop hoping, praying, and believing in them. And never stop loving them. Simply because you just never know how they will respond when the true love that only comes from above and from your heart will break through into their darkness. As long as they are still breathing, there is hope for them. As I look back on the days of my past now, the scenes are still so very clear, as though they had just happened last night. I honestly thank God, in fact I pray, that He would never let me forget those times while I'm here on earth. It marvels me how the human mind seems to store in mint condition those memories that are the hardest on us, while the good ones seem to vanish like the quickly fading voice of a nurse counting backwards after administering a final anesthetic dosage before wheeling you into the operating room. While I sit at this computer and write this autobiography, I find it hard to stifle the emotions that stir in me. I'm thankful many of those emotions are of sheer gratitude. Yet, many of them are not. The process, I now realize, is one that's both a burden and a blessing. Before we go any further, may I stop and say, thank you? To spend these moments with you is a great privilege, and I want you to know how grateful I am for the opportunity. I would like to write of a happy childhood where fond memories of love and nurture abound. In fact, I would even be satisfied to write of a somewhat normal childhood, but reality dictates otherwise. I am left with only one alternative, presenting the bare, unrelenting, traumatic, sometimes happy, sometimes sad, triumphant, never a dull moment. Truth. Truth that is complete with gnarls, warts, bumps, bruises, velvety smooth caresses, and timeless endurance. This is not a sad story. It is one of triumph. It is my story, and it may even be a part of your story. It is truth, and truth lingers. I have paid the price for your ticket to this live event. Now it is time for you to get comfortable and enjoy your front row seating. Not being one to stick to formalities and for the sake of sheer adventure, I sometimes like to just jump into the thick of things and explain later. This is where we will begin. Jump in with me as we take a first-hand look, or should I say, a real-life tour, and examine how the life of a former alcoholic, cocaine/heroin addict, and an ex-convict's life on Skid Row turned into a beautiful journey out of addiction, and how I became a free man walking. Andy,